what's the key to beating Pittsburgh tonight?
We have to stay with how we've been playing lately. I think that's an important thing, and I think understanding the type of game that this is going to be is the other one. They're still an elite team, and they're in a very similar situation as we are right now. So we're anticipating it'll be a really good game tonight.
Do you think your team can sort of feed all the excitement going on around Kipper?
Sure, absolutely. This is a cool night. We've talked about it before with Kipper going to the rafters. That's one important thing for us. Pittsburgh being in town is another thing, and I think just the energy that will be present in the building tonight will be another thing that will make this game even that much better.
I think the number of days you've had now can be beneficial in terms of digesting what happened with the trade and sort of refocusing.
Whether it's, I look at the days off, you can go one of two ways. We were in a stretch where we were playing a lot of hockey, and we were rolling a little bit, so you're in a bit of a rhythm. Then you have the 3 days off, all the other stuff aside. Sometimes you can get yourself out of a funk, or out of that rhythm, I should say. So for us, it's important that we have a great start tonight. That's really what it's about for our team, is making sure that we're enjoying the ceremony that'll happen prior, and then we have to do a great job of getting ourselves warmed up and prepared to properly start this game.
What have you liked about your team's starts of late?
I think there's been a real connection between the guys on the ice. We've had good energy early, and I thought we've dictated a lot of the pace for the way the games have been, and we're going to have to find a way to do a lot of the same stuff here tonight.
Ever since moving Jagor to center, what have you seen in terms of a commitment? Like, he knows that his face-off numbers aren't where he wants them. What have you seen in terms of his commitment to improving those?
His face-off numbers?
Yeah.
He's working on it. I mean, that's what you have to do, and he studies. I think that's the other thing that a centerman can do when you can't get your time on the ice. You can watch to see what your opponents are going to do, and our guys do a great job of breaking opposing centerman down, so it gives him an idea as to what he's going to see. But that's a challenge for a guy that hasn't played a ton of center and taking all the draws that we're asking him to take now. I think he's done a really good job of working in that area and trying to make himself more consistent.
Is that just sort of a natural disadvantage? Like, you're going up against guys who've been getting reps at that position forever?
Sure, absolutely. But that's what you like about him, and I think over the course of the year, we've asked him to be a little bit harder in his puck battles. We've asked him little things like that, and every step along the way, he's done it. So I'm pretty confident that he's going to continue to get better and better in the circle.
What do you hope that guys take away from the ceremony tonight, Ryan?
They all know everything about Mika. We mentioned before, there's a few players that you think about here. It's Jerome, the guys that are up in the rafters right now, Lanny, Mike. There's certain flames that people, they understand what they're all about and what they've done for this city, and he's no different. So I think they're going to enjoy it for sure. I think there's going to be a great energy in the building, and when they watch some of the video, I think when they see some of the saves that he makes, I think it'll give them a little bit extra, fire as they head into this game here tonight.
Is it hard for a head coach to wrap his head around the workload numbers, like the fact he was starting 76?
And that was the way it was a little while ago, where there were guys that could play that many. But I heard yesterday at that luncheon that it was 7 years in a row of 70-plus games, and that, to me, is nuts. One, it speaks of his ability to stay healthy, for one, and then two, it's the mental capacity to handle that type of workload is impressive, because nowadays you see the 1A, 1B, or whatever they call it, where everybody's, you're managing or monitoring workload, but there was no monitoring or managing at that point when you're playing 60 games or 76 games a year.
Looks like Andrei Kuzmenko will draw back in tonight. We've heard you talk about what he needs to do to be effective. I guess just what are you expecting from him tonight?
We need the energy, and all the things we've talked about before is a guy that's going to be very strong on the puck. We want him to have a shoot-first mentality because that's one of his strengths. The last time he played for us, he played a really good first period, and that's what we want to see from him consistently here. So it's being around the puck and being very strong on it.
Is this different than it looks like Walker comes out. Is this different than some of his scratches earlier in the season? Like, are you happy with what you're getting?
Yeah, he's been night and day different for us, and that's the hard part about the game sometimes. You don't always deserve to be taken out of the lineup, but there's certain situations where that's the way it goes. But he's taken a lot of steps in the right direction, without a doubt.